Gene Hackman did not leave in peace. He stormed away, leaving a fortune that could rock an entire family tree. Over $80 million in cash, real estate, secret stocks, and mysterious investments were his legacy, but these colossal numbers hid a nightmare that shattered every family tie. Every single dollar Hackman bequeathed did more than purchase mansions and lavish art. It bought dark secrets, midnight calls, and truly desperate unsent letters. That money exuded a scent of terror, betrayal, and shattered dreams. Hackman didn't bestow a legacy, he unleashed a curse. Gene Hackman was once hailed as an eternal icon of Hollywood, a realm where once glorious faces fade into obscurity. Yet even the brightest stars slowly vanish into the silent night. In his final years, Hackman took a truly unexpected route, defying the public's image of a silver screen legend. No lavish tribute celebrations, no tearful goodbyes. Gene Hackman exited Hollywood with the same quiet detachment with which he disappeared. New Mexico felt like home to him. Since the 1980s, he had secured a haven in Santa Fe, a true refuge of calm and mystery, a spot both secluded and wild enough to hide him from the movie world's harsh spotlight. The twisting red dirt roads, the bay, shadowy pine forests, and the eerie howling wind at dusk set the stage for a star to end his journey. Locals murmured about a tall, slender old man, his face carved with deep wrinkles, pedaling his bicycle over small hills every day. "He looks like someone I've seen before," a grocery store clerk once said, yet no one could be certain. In this quiet town, Gene Hackman nearly vanished into thin air, fading into a mere shadow among the seniors, spending his final years in silence. Hollywood attempted to lure him back with offers from ambitious young directors, but nothing could shatter the wall of silence he had constructed around himself. At 90, Hackman cared little for fame or fortune. He sought only the peace that had eluded him on film sets his entire life. Yet his silence was not entirely his choice as dark rumors began to circulate, revealing hidden facets of his life through whispered insider stories. His terse admission echoed through the corridors of his past, stirring both admiration and regret. It was rumored that his health deteriorated more rapidly than anyone had predicted. Brief heart pains and overlooked bicycle tumbles on the road painted the picture of a man who had become a mere ghost of his former self. His family, according to anonymous sources, was far from harmonious. Hackman had 3 children from his first marriage to Faye Maltese, a 30-year marriage that ended in bitter divorce. His daughter, Elizabeth Hackman, once publicly lamented her father's icy detachment, claiming that fame devoured all the time he should have spent with his family. "He was always working, always somewhere else," she revealed in a rare interview. The bond between Hackman and his children was far from close. Although he provided generously, shared family dinners, bike lessons, and bedtime stories existed only in the imaginations of his kids. Years of deep indifference created a gaping, irreparable divide, even after Hackman remarried Betsy Arakawa, a pianist 30 years his junior. The mood between him and his children remained strained. Several close sources disclosed that Gene Hackman's decision to withdraw from public life was not just for rest, but also a way to escape the simmering conflicts within his family. Family gatherings dwindled, phone calls became briefer, and even Christmas lost its spirit of togetherness. The fading echoes of laughter and love served as a painful reminder of what was lost. Hackman never said that, voiced it, yet those closest to him got the message. He dreaded the look of disappointment in his children's eyes, and he had tried to make things right with money, assets, and extravagant gifts sent from the West Coast to the cities where his children lived. Still, money, like the characters he once portrayed, could not buy the most priceless gift: connection and forgiveness. His estrangement peaked when he fully retired from Hollywood in 2004 after his final role in Welcome to Mooseport. There were no farewells to colleagues and no tribute parties from the studios that once hailed him as a golden goose. Hackman vanished like a mysterious wind, leaving behind only vague rumors about a tragic, solitary, and obstinate monument. In his final years, Santa Fe felt like a vacuum detached from the rest of the world. He spent most of his time in a modest wooden house, reading, writing, and painting vivid landscapes. It was said that Hackman loved sitting by himself on the porch, watching the sunset set the distant mountains ablaze in red, Those were perhaps the rare moments he felt completely free. No camera flashes, no false praises, no troubled relationships. Yet even more chilling were the whispers of a private fund, a shadow fund, that Hackman had established in the mid-90s. No one knew exactly how this fund operated, where the money originated, or what its ultimate purpose was. Some said Hackman had secretly written a will years ago, carefully dividing his assets into various accounts, making sure no one could contest them. Others claimed Hackman set up an anonymous charity, pouring most of his fortune as a silent atonement. To the children he had left behind, the less he appeared, the more Hackman became the center of countless conspiracy theories and fabricated stories. But in his small Santa Fe home, he quietly spent his final days, leaving behind not only a brilliant career but also mysteries that lingered long after his eyes closed. The only way to truly end a story is to vanish from it. Gene Hackman penned his own finale by departing from the world in a manner no one ever expected. The news of Hackman's passing emerged on a gray morning before the sun had even risen over the red peaks of New Mexico. The announcement was quiet and modest, echoing his reclusive lifestyle for the past 2 decades. Yet, as soon as that brief news appeared in a local newspaper, it set off a powerful undercurrent. Not only did Hollywood media take notice, but even the Hackman family experienced a sudden reveal of secrets that had been locked away for years. The family never fully grasped the true extent of his wealth. With the image of a Hollywood legend who boasted 2 Oscar statuettes and graced the most prestigious red carpets, no one doubted Hackman held a vast fortune. But exactly how large, where it was hidden, and the methods of its concealment were mysteries that even his closest relatives could not solve. Hackman's discretion and reclusiveness were not mere personality traits, they were an art, a strategy he executed flawlessly before his final moments. Initially, his family believed everything would be simple. An aged handwritten will from 2001, officially notarized, surfaced to list a few clear assets. It mentioned a Santa Fe house, a California bank account, and a vintage Hudson Hornet Hackman treasured since his youth. This truly surprising document stunned critics and historians alike. Yet the more old documents were examined, the deeper they dug into hidden bank accounts, revealing an entirely new story. It turned out Gene Hackman's name extended far beyond cinema. Since the 1990s, at the peak of his career, Hackman had been quietly crafting a complex financial web, woven with real estate, stocks, and money sent abroad, in utmost secrecy. More than a brilliant actor, Hackman was a true master of hiding his finances. The first breakthrough came from the family lawyer, a seasoned gentleman who had worked with Hackman since the 70s. Among dusty papers in a wooden chest at a Santa Fe storage, handwritten letters and secret memos detailing covert transactions were uncovered. Investments in budding tech firms, suburban Nevada land funds, and solar power plants in New Mexico were all funneled through shell companies with no overt link to Hackman. Yet when the trail of transactions was followed, every dollar converged on a single account. This was the very account Hackman set up in 1993, immediately after clinching his second Oscar. After assembling all the clues, experts estimated that the total assets exceeded $80 million, a sum that stunned even his most trusted confidants. Yet what truly shocked the family wasn't the sheer amount, but the ingenious way Hackman concealed his wealth for years. No one could decipher exactly how he did it, with whom, or why he opted for such extreme secrecy. During some mysterious deals, Hackman used fake names with trust accounts set up in Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, and Singapore. The burning question remained: why would Gene Hackman hide his fortune from his very own family? Was it a lack of trust, or were there darker secrets lurking beneath the surface? A theory started to spread, not from the media but among the Hackman family. The children, raised in the chill of their famous father's indifference, soon recognized that they never really knew him. So he built walls by layering his finances in a way so secure that even his children couldn't access them. The discovery of this shadow fund sparked secret investigations. Lawyers, financial experts, and private detectives all brought in to follow the money trail. But every lead ended in a dead end. Hackman had planned for this eventuality long. He had set up ghost accounts, multiple shell companies, and cash transactions that were impossible to track. Whenever his family got close to unraveling the truth, Hackman was always 10 years ahead. When the family lawyer finally disclosed the official asset list, it turned out that what was recorded was only the tip of the iceberg: the Santa Fe home, the vintage car, and a handful of bank deposits. The rest of his real fortune remained, hidden in the financial shadows, known only to Hackman. Now that he was gone, this mystery became an unsolvable puzzle for his closest kin. In their frantic search, the family discovered a harsh truth. There were times when they never truly belonged in Gene Hackman's life. He lived as a solitary legend, cherishing his wealth in his own unique way. He took those secrets to his grave. That enormous fortune, instead of evolving into a family legacy, ended up as the shattered remains of a man who chose to forsake everything, including his family, to safeguard his absolute control. The old wooden door of the Santa Fe house creaked dryly as it swung open. Dim yellow light poured through the entrance, filling the dusty space where the scent of decaying wood and old paper mixed into the unique aroma of a house long abandoned. The Hackman family stood silently before the scene, a frozen moment in time with shattered fragments of memory scattered across the gray wooden floor. They did not burst into tears immediately as soon as they learned of Hackman's passing. The loss was more than just the departure of a father, husband, or grandfather. It felt like the tremors of a deep earthquake, long smoldering beneath the surface, suddenly erupting and sweeping away everything from family bonds and trust to long-hidden secrets. That evening, gathered around the worn wooden table, Hackman's children carefully opened each box and envelope tucked away in the warehouse corner. No one was ready for what awaited them. Instead of wills or financial directions, they found handwritten letters in faded ink never sent, bearing Hackman's familiar, trembling script. The very first letter dated back to the winter of 1995, just after Hackman wrapped up filming Crimson Tide. He addressed it to Christopher, his eldest son, with whom he had not spoken directly for 15 years. The brief letter, only a few lines, read, "I know I've never been the father you wanted me to be, but you have to understand, I was never meant to belong to anyone. Not even my own family." Those words struck Christopher like a cold knife through his chest. Although he was not shocked to see them, the agony of reading them on a yellowed piece of paper, rather than hearing them directly from his father, still stole his breath away. The subsequent letters overflowed with memories and regret. The letter addressed to Elizabeth, his youngest daughter, recalled evenings when Hackman sat, alone in the living room, watching old family tapes. In it, Hackman wrote, "I always thought I was protecting you by keeping my distance. I wanted you to live without the shadow of my fame, but now I wonder if I was just protecting myself." Written on Elizabeth's 30th birthday but never mailed, that poignant letter was one fragment of Hackman's soul. Each letter revealed secret aspects that no one in the family had ever discovered. He was not merely a famous actor or a Hollywood legend, he was also a solitary man, caught between the urge to shield his family and the fear of losing himself in fatherhood. But it wasn't only the letters. The deeper the Hackman family searched. Through the old drawers, the more pieces of that intricate puzzle they uncovered. There were mysterious, baffling financial agreements, inexplicable money transfers, and most disturbingly, an extensive list of secret beneficiaries. Gene Hackman had crafted a separate inheritance list that omitted every family member's name. Instead, millions of dollars were funneled to strangers. A childhood friend in California, a former assistant who retired in the 80s, and even a waiter at Hackman's favorite Santa Fe restaurant received these funds. Why did Hackman choose them, and why was his own family left out? No one could answer. Yet shock and resentment overwhelmed the room, crashing like waves and engulfing each family member in an inescapable emotional storm. Some said Hackman had secretly written a will years ago, carefully dividing his assets into various accounts, making sure no one could contest them. Others claimed Hackman set up an anonymous charity, pouring most of his fortune as a silent atonement. To the children he had left behind, the less he appeared, the more Hackman became the center of countless conspiracy theories and fabricated stories. But in his small Santa Fe home, he quietly spent his final days, leaving behind not only a brilliant career but also mysteries that lingered long after his eyes closed. The only way to truly end a story is to vanish from it. Gene Hackman penned his own finale by departing from the world in a manner no one ever expected. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe.